Hi and welcome to section 4 of the Taipan development series. In today's videos we're going to be working on the Sampan junk boat. It's only a little wee boat, one sail sampan for this. Within the game Taipan you're going to get various different sized boats up to quite large ships based on how well you're doing and your status. So when the game starts you're going to be having this sort of one sail version. So into this first part we're going to be working on the hull, getting the basic hull settings and shapes correct, and just adding a tiny piece of detail to it. And in later videos then we'll be adding the sails and the rudder and bits and bobs like that, etc. I've been having a quick think about this, and it's going to be there is a quite tricky model to make just because of the hull shapes and so the reference images I've given you we're going to use as a sort of guide and no more, because we don't want to be spending too much time making this. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to go over to the quad view. I don't often use the quad view, very rarely in fact, but we will just to get the references images set up. So firstly I'm going to go over to the preferences. Now if you're using a Mac they're under modo preferences. If you're on the PC I think they may be under system, but have a delve up there in the top. It's been such a long time since I used the PC modo to be honest, but you'll probably know where it is if you're a PC user. We just want to make sure that the units are in English and feet, just because I know from this I've got some notes in front of me here. The sampan I'm looking at is about 11'6" long, so just so we can get it roughly to scale. So first thing I'm going to do, this is a standard scene by the way, I've just created a new scene, I've saved it once, that's just why it's got a name. It's only got a standard empty mesh, camera and directional light. So we're going to add an item, we're going to add a background item, then we're going to go over to the properties and make sure we've got background selected up here just so we can see it. And the first thing I'm going to do is the top. We'll do the top one, and I'm going to load in, click on the image there, add clip, load image, and these are the ones I've given you, so we're going to do sampan underscore top. I'm just going to bring that in. I'm just going to rename this. It seems to be a bit cranky this when I'm screen capturing, so I know you can double click to rename, but if you see me having to right click things, that's just because it's screwing a bit with the actual, just the overall system really. So I'm just going to call this top reference image for now. We're going to call that a day there. So I'm going to add another one, background backdrop item. Okay, we'll do the front this time. Let's same again. We're going to add clip, load image, and did I give you a front one? Let's fingers crossed I did. Yes, I did. We're going to load in the front, and it's not loving it. Front, back, drop, image. And then finally we'll load in one more for now, backdrop item, and this one's going to be the side one, so we'll pick the right projection and add clip, load image, same as before, and look for the side one. There she is. Okay, so I want to just close my little notifications coming up here, so we don't get okay. So there's my side images in and my front exactly and the top. So we need to do a little bit of jiggery pokery with this. If you look in the perspective view, they're all over the shop to be honest. So we're going to grab the top one first. Let me just rename this one before I forget. Side. I've called them all something slightly different. Look. That's just the sort of guy I am. So we're gonna get the top one here, and to manipulate these you need to be in items mode. I'm just going to rotate this one round. Let's just get it the right way, like that. Okay, so I've resized them already, so when you bring them in now they should roughly be, like I said, it doesn't matter if they're not exact there, we're not, we're not splitting the atom here, as long as they're roughly, we're good to go, roughly there, we're good to go. So now in the mesh item, I'm just going to go up to basic and I'm just going to grab a cube here and I'm just going to drag this out. Now I know the length of this is roughly 11 foot 6 inches, so I'm going to go down to about, and I'm just looking at this little readout down there. If you don't see those sizes on your sort of tool handles, go up to your preferences, and that's probably because they're on tool handles. There's like a basic version and an advanced version which puts them on. If not, you can always just look over here in the sizes in this sentence here. Now for the size, the width, I haven't really got a width for this, so I'm going to go to about 4'3". We're going to maybe a bit bigger. Now we'll go 4'1". Okay, spacebar to drop the tool. I'm in wireframe mode, by the way, that's why you can't see the polys actually like. And then over in polygon mode, I'm going to select the polys that make up that cube there, and I'm just going to snap them to the middle. Now what I'm going to have to do now, I'm going to have to basically go over to these reference items, and I'm basically going to just try and manipulate these now to fit. So we'll go over to items mode. So we're looking at the top one here. So I'm going to hit the scale tool. I'm just going to bring it in just so that you'll see from the bottom of the reference image here, just so it just sort of hits on the bottom of that cube. The top's pretty much there. I'm just going to bring in the sides, just so we're not going to be using this cube tool, that's just to get the rough. See if I'm going a bit over there, I'm just trying to make it, keep the boat proportions. So I guessed on the 4 foot wide, if you remember, so we're going to go with that. Now the side one, I'm going to come down here, I'm going to scale this in. Like so. I'm going to hide the cube just so we can see, just as long as this sort of top bit there is lining up with that there, which it is. Now for the, we're still going to have to come back and manipulate these a bit. Now I'm basically just getting this so this edge of this boat is level with this edge there. Now the scale's all shot, so I'm going to bring that down to give it more of a boat profile there. And then finally with this side one, I'm just going to match that. Just so they're all roughly, and this edge along here, this sort of curve, should come down to roughly the edge of this here, which they're pretty much in line. So I'm basically going to say that's pretty bang on. Okay. Just so we keep everything symmetrical here, I'm going to make sure things are in the middle. So that's all nicely lined up in the middle there. But we'll come to tweak that when we start blocking out the boat. So I'm going to select that cube for now. I'm just going to delete it. And now these last little bits, I'm just going to move these into more of a sort of box formation. So I'm going to move that just so they're not really in the way when we come to start the modelling. Basically just sort of so basically now we're going to be making our model in the middle of this area. And the last thing I'm going to do with these images is I'm just going to make them 50% transparent. Okay, so there's our reference images set up, and now we're ready to start modelling. So when we come back in the next part, we'll block out the hull. So back in a moment.